Welcome to our social media video viewers. I'm Joseph Clark and this is Martial Arts World Radio. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be kicking off our live radio broadcast in about 10 minutes time. Special episode this evening with a very special guest. We're going to be spending 1 hour with former UFC Hall of Famer and World Champion BAS RUTTEN. Today's interview is brought to you by Cayenne independent distributor Daniel Gerage. Cayenne is a leading provider of all-natural health and wellness products that provides athletes with faster post-training recovery and energy. Endorsed by professional fighters and celebrity martial artists Josh Tyler, Manny Pacquiao, and Jackie Chan, reach out to Daniel for more info at Cayenne Health Australia at gmail.com. That's Cayenne, K-Y-A-N-I, healthaustralia@gmail.com, and he can be Skyped at that exact same address on Skype right now. It's Daniel at Cayenne healthaustralia@gmail.com. This is Martial Arts World Radio, and our guest will be BAS RUTTEN, who we will be speaking to for an hour this evening. One very special guest. Check out www.bobwallworldblackbelt.com, the world's foremost online martial arts and MMA marketplace. Also check out Prospect Fighting Championships at www.prospectfights.com. And also look for the books The Tao of MMA and 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts. Both books are available at Amazon by searching The Tao, T-A-O, The Tao of MMA and 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts. For those of you just joining us, I'm Joseph Clark. This is Martial Arts World Radio. We're going to get our live radio broadcast kicked off in about 8 minutes' time. We have a very special guest this evening. Former UFC Hall of Famer and World Champion BAS RUTTEN will be joining us, and we'll be spending an hour. You'll be listening to my hour-long telephone conversation with BAS RUTTEN. Also, be sure to check us out at www.mawradio for Martial Arts World, mawradio.com. Our interview with former UFC World Champion BAS RUTTEN is also brought to you by ketone specialist Regan Bremersh. Keto OS is leading a modern health revolution through therapeutic ketone technology. Mix this great natural 100% bioidentical ketone powder into a 16-ounce bottle of cold water for a great tasting drink for peak performance. Within 15 to 30 minutes, you'll be in the optimal fight and training state of ketosis. He doesn't just say it can do it, he can prove it. For more information, contact Regan at 1204-522-0733. Again, he can be texted or called at 1204-522-0733. Or visit www.proveit2day.ca. That's www.proveit2day.ca. This is Martial Arts World Radio. We're going to be getting our live radio broadcast kicked off in 7 minutes' time. I'm Joseph Clark. Special guest, former UFC Hall of Famer and World Champion BAS RUTTEN will be joining us tonight. We're going to be spending an hour. You'll be listening to my telephone conversation with BAS RUTTEN. Put this date in your calendar. Sunday, June 25th, UFC fighter Alex Ricci is hosting a Muay Thai seminar at Bruce County Combat in Walkerton, Ontario, Canada. Everyone is welcome. No experience is necessary. $25 per person from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Contact Bruce County Combat and Fitness for more information. That's 519-507-4431, or you can email them at brucecountycombat@gmail.com. Again, that's Sunday, June 25th. UFC fighter Alex Ricci is hosting a Muay Thai seminar at Bruce County Combat. You can reach them at 519-507-4431. I'm Joseph Clark. This is Martial Arts World Radio. For those of you just joining us, we're going to be getting our live radio broadcast kicked off in about 6 minutes' time. Now, as you know, each episode we feature anywhere from 2 to 4 interviews with the biggest names in martial arts and combat sports, from the UFC, Bellator, and the Olympics, as well as martial arts legends, pioneers, and cinema stars. However, this evening, our hour is dedicated to a very special guest, UFC Hall of Fame inductee and former world champion, author, fight commentator, and cinema star, BAS RUTTEN. For those of you who are on their tablets and devices, please check out our website, and if you look at www.mawradio.com, you're going to see icons under our sponsors for UFC Store, Everlast, MMA Warehouse, and Century Martial Arts. If you click on those, you qualify for a discount should you buy anything, and you also support this radio show, and for that I thank you. For those of you just joining us, I'm Joseph Clark. This is Martial Arts World Radio. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get our live radio broadcast kicked off in about 4 minutes' time after some news and weather. Our guest tonight, UFC Hall of Fame inductee and former world champion, BAS RUTTEN. This past week, I had a rich and diverse 1-hour telephone conversation with BAS RUTTEN and on a variety of topics, and we're going to be playing that telephone conversation this evening. Be sure to check out some of our sponsors. Check out BobWallWorldBlackBelt.com, the world's foremost online martial arts community and MMA marketplace. Also, check out Prospect Fighting Championships at www.prospectfights.com. And look for the books The Tao of MMA and 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts. Both books are available at Amazon by searching them under their titles The Tao of MMA and 21st Century Perspectives on Martial Arts. Special thanks for this episode goes to our new web marketing affiliates, Everlast, Century Martial Arts, MMA Warehouse, and UFC Store. Check them out at our website at www.mawradio.com. Also, be sure to check our website out at mawradio.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube by following Martial Arts World Radio. I'm Joseph Clark. We're going to be getting our live radio broadcast kicked off in about 3 minutes' time. And our special guest for this hour is going to be world champion and UFC Hall of Fame inductee, BAS RUTTEN. Welcome to our social media video viewers. I'm Joseph Clark. This is Martial Arts World Radio. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get our broadcast kicked off in approximately 2 minutes' time. Each episode, as you know, we generally feature anywhere from 2 to 4 interviews with the biggest names in martial arts and combat sports, from the UFC, Bellator, the Olympics, as well as martial arts legends, pioneers, and cinema stars. However, this evening, our hour is dedicated to one very special guest, UFC Hall of Fame inductee, former world champion, author, fight commentator, and cinema star, BAS RUTTEN. Today's interview is brought to you by Kyani independent distributor Daniel Gerais. Check out Kyani Health Australia at gmail.com. Endorsed by professional fighters and celebrity martial artists Josh Tyler, Manny Pacquiao, and Jackie Chan, Kyani is a leading provider of all natural health and wellness products that provide athletes with faster post-training recovery and energy. For more information, reach out to Daniel at Kyani Health Australia at gmail.com. Our interview is also brought to you by ketone specialist Regan Bremersh. Keto ES is leading a modern health revolution through therapeutic ketone technology. Mix this great natural 100% bioidentical ketone powder into a 16-ounce bottle of water for a great tasting drink for peak performance. Within 15 to 30 minutes, you will be in the optimal training and fight state of ketosis. He doesn't just say it can do it, he can prove it. Reach out to Regan at 1204-522-0733 or check out his website at proveit2day.ca, PRUVIT2day.ca. This evening you'll be listening to my conversation with UFC Hall of Famer and former world champion BAS RUTTEN. Special thanks for this episode interview goes to our new web marketing affiliates for Martial Arts World Radio, Everlast, Century Martial Arts, UFC Store, and MMA Warehouse. Check them out at our website at www.mawradio.com. This is Martial Arts World Radio. Our guest this evening, we're going to be spending an hour with UFC Hall of Fame inductee and former world champion BAS RUTTEN. And that interview is going to start in about 1 minute time, just after we go through some news and weather. Thank you for joining us. Sunday, June 25th, put in your calendar, UFC fighter Alex Ricci is hosting a Muay Thai seminar at Bruce County Combat in Walkerton, Ontario, Canada from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Everyone is welcome, no experience necessary, $25 per person. For more information, contact Bruce County Combat and Fitness at 519-507-4431 or email them at brucecountycombat@gmail.com. This is Martial Arts World Radio. We're going to be going live with our episode this evening. 1 hour spent with UFC Hall of Fame inductee and former world champion BAS RUTTEN. We're going to start that in about 60 seconds time after some news and weather. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to sign off the video and go on to our live radio broadcast now, but stick around. I'm going to keep the live video stream going. However, we're going to mic you up for the radio broadcast.
And sent his condolences to her family. Meanwhile, it turns out one of the three attackers, Karam Shahzad Butt, was once in a documentary that aired last year entitled The Jihadist Next Door, in which he spoke about the need for Sharia law. The commander of the Canadian Forces mission in Iraq and Syria is telling the Canadian press he expects Ottawa will extend the operation past its expiry at the end of the month. The lawyer for comic legend Bill Cosby went straight on the attack at his sex assault trial today in suburban Philadelphia. Canadian Andrea Constant has alleged Cosby drugged and sexually assaulted her more than a decade ago. From the Canadian Press, I'm Roger Wood.
Here's Mark and Don Leslie from Leslie Motors.
Hey, Don, I think people like the small-town atmosphere we have on our 3 dealerships.
You're right, and I don't think they realize we have over 100 new and 75 pre-owned vehicles to choose from.
And if we don't have what you're looking for, we will try our best to find it.
You could call it big city inventory with a small-town atmosphere.
Hey, that's pretty good. Did you think of that all by yourself?
Leslie Motors in Harriston, Walkerton, and Wingham. A pleasant drive from anywhere.
Tonight, cloudy with a 60% chance of showers, wind out of the north at 20 kilometres near midnight to a low of 11. For Tuesday, cloudy with a 30% chance of showers and a high of 13. And looking ahead to Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 15 degrees.
St. Matthew's Hanover is having their 6th annual Spare Rib Dinner. This takes place on Thursday, June the 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. There'll be barbecue and honey garlic ribs, along with potatoes, sauerkraut, veggies, salad, tea dessert, and coffee. And there is takeout available. Tickets are only $22 per person and available through Marie at 519-364-3614 or the church office.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and not necessarily those of Blue Water Radio.
Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton. Check out the full list of classes at brucecountycombat.com.
Hi, I'm Don the Dragon Wilson, and you're listening to Joseph Clark at Martial Arts World Radio.
Welcome to this special edition of Martial Arts World Radio. I'm your host, Joseph Clark. Each episode we feature anywhere from 2 to 4 interviews with the biggest names in martial arts and combat sports, from the UFC, Bellator, the Olympics, as well as martial arts legends, pioneers, and cinema stars. However, this evening's hour is dedicated to one very special guest, UFC Hall of Fame inductee, former world champion, author, fight commentator, and cinema star, BAS RUTTEN. Today's interview is brought to you by Cayenne independent distributor Daniel Gerage. Cayenne is a leading provider of all-natural health and wellness products that provide athletes with faster post-training recovery and energy. Endorsed by professional fighters and celebrity martial artists Josh Tyler, Manny Pacquiao, and Jackie Chan. Reach out to Daniel for more info at Cayenne Health Australia at gmail.com or Skype Daniel at that exact same address, Kyani, Cayenne Health Australia at gmail.com. Sebastian BAS RUTTEN, born 24th of February 1965, is a Dutch former mixed martial artist, kickboxer, and professional wrestler. He is 6'1", weighing 215 pounds, and he fought in the heavyweight, light heavyweight, and open weight divisions. He was a UFC heavyweight champion, a 3-time King of Pancrase world champion, and finished his career on a 22-fight unbeaten streak, 21 wins, 1 draw. When he was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame, Fight Metric, the official statistics provider for the UFC, ran the numbers on RUTTEN's career. In the 4 hours, 27 minutes, and 8 seconds he spent as a pro fighter, RUTTEN scored 13 knockdowns without getting dropped himself. His significant strike accuracy was 70.6%, the highest Fight Metric has ever recorded. He attempted a record 53 submissions and successfully swept his opponents a record 46 times. From 2007 to 2016, Rutten was the co-host of Inside MMA on AXS TV. As a professional fighter, one of his favorite tactics was the liver shot, both punch and kick, and he popularized its use in MMA. Rutten is known for his charisma and has capitalized on his celebrity status since retiring from fighting in 1999. He has worked as a color commentator in several MMA organizations, including Pride, and has appeared in numerous television shows, movies, and video games. He also coaches MMA and has authored several instructional materials. This past week, I had a rich and diverse one-hour telephone conversation with BAS RUTTEN on a variety of topics. Here is that telephone conversation.
BAS RUTTEN, welcome to Martial Arts World Radio.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it truly is a privilege. I mean, honestly, taking a look at your history and your statistics and your career, you truly are a legend of the sport. And I'm sure lots of people tell you that.
Yeah, you know, they always say, I say, yeah, but legend is just another word for being old, I guess, you know? So that's why I said, but yeah, no, I'm extremely happy with how my life has turned out. So, yes, I happily accept that.
BAS, what current projects or activities are you involved in these days?
You know, I'm really working out on my O2 trainer. It's a long training device that I invented, but I came up with it when I was 14. I was a severe asthma patient, and I realized that an asthma attack actually was training my lungs. I was working my lungs out, because every time I had an asthma attack, I would lay in bed for 8 days or 7 days, not able to eat or do anything because I couldn't breathe. But then always when I resumed my track and field, everything went much better. I would run much better. And it drove me nuts. I never understood why it was until I had a doctor's visit at a doctor's office, and I saw a drawing of a pair of lungs. And there I realized that the lung infection is in the lung pipes, not in the lungs itself. You think as a kid that's in the lung bag, so to say, but I go, oh man, that was the light bulb going off. I've been working out my lungs, but my lungs have been working really hard to pull air through an infected area. So why don't I make something that can control the air intake? And then we started making it. 5 years ago, I started making it, and now it became this thing. I mean, if you're me of my asthma, lots of other people from asthma, of course, it's very good for athletes. For anybody who uses their lungs, whether you're a singer or a horn instrument player. So that's a lot of focus right now goes into that.
And of course, you just alluded to asthma. I understand as a child you were quite ill, and according to Wikipedia, you were also bullied a lot. How did that play into your interest in combat sports?
Well, it was everything. You know, I was bullied on a daily basis because I had a horrible skin disease on my face, on my hands, and my arms, and so I was wearing always long sleeves, turtlenecks, you know, to hopefully to make them stop. But, you know, they were relentless as a kid. You know, you can't blame them. They don't know. So they just kept going. And then I saw a Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon. And that was it. That sparked everything. And after that, I wanted to become like Bruce Lee so I could take care of my bullies. And that actually happened. I got into a fight with the biggest bully in town 2 years after that movie. But I started training and working out and doing well. And at one punch, it was literally one shot. He was knocked out. And all his buddies who were with him, nobody did anything. Everyone was freaking out. He broke his nose, though. That was the problem, because now he had to go to the hospital, and that meant the police was called. So and my mom and dad were not very happy about that. They took me off Taekwondo. That was the sport I was doing at the time. They took me off instantly. And, you know, then many years later, I kept training with my friends, but, you know, I didn't tell my parents, of course. Mimicking Bruce Lee from movies and the magazines, whatever I could find on it. And then when I was 19, when I was 20 years old, I moved out of the house, and that's when I started doing everything. You know, I started doing Taekwondo, karate, Thai boxing. I mean, it went really fast in a short amount of time.
So how long as a child did you cope with these illnesses? Like, at what age were you somewhat free and clear of these illnesses?
Well, I would say around 20, around that age, 21, my eczema really started to clear up more and more, thankfully. Well, it started earlier as well. I would say 17 years old, it started slowly but surely. I had spots in my neck here and there, but not covered anymore. And you know, asthma and eczema, they go hand in hand. Like when I have asthma, my eczema will be looking pretty good. And when I had no asthma, then my eczema is really bad. So it's like a thing that goes hand in hand. But you start growing out of it, slowly but surely. And, well, when I was 37, I moved to America. Oh, when I was fighting, I still had spots on my stomach here and there. If you look really good, you can tell it, but I'm nothing like what I used to have as a kid. So that's what I always tell kids. You know, I say, you'll grow out of it. So just know that there's sun behind the clouds, you know, and slowly but surely you will grow out of it. And this will, if you do it correctly, will make you a stronger person.
Boz, how did your mom and dad or your family support you through that illness when you were a child? Because I know I'm a father of four. That would be really heartbreaking for any parents. How did they cope with that, and how did they support you through it?
You know, I never wanted to be treated different. My mom, though, my poor mom, she said a lot of times at my bed because my eczema was such a horrible disease that my whole family would send in old bed sheets, and she would rip those into bandages, and then every night I would always say she mummified me, my arms, and wherever I needed to put creams on, she put creams on, and then put bandages around me. And I would have, in the middle of the night, I would start itching, and I would have it every single day, every single night. I started itching, and I pulled everything off. You know, you get really angry, and it's really annoying, and so she had to redo it again. So I was mama's boy. She spent a lot of time with me.
And tell us about sneaking into the theater with your brother to see Enter the Dragon, because I believe you were too young to get in at the time, correct?
Yeah, it was a heavy movie, and you know, it still stuck with me. There's this one scene in where a person gets loaded, he's hanging in chains, and they lower him into acid, and then the chains go up, and the person is gone. And now I know why it was that movie 17 years older, because as a kid, I was 12 years old. That left the mark that scene with me. But, you know, I also saw, of course, Bruce Lee. And so what we did, my brother and I were both, my brother's 2 years old, so we were 12 or 14. We found a way to sneak into the movie theater, undetected, so we could see the movie.
And so many people that I interview, I mean, so many celebrity status fighters that I interview, and UFC fighters and world champions, they all say the same thing, that Enter the Dragon and Bruce Lee, or seeing Bruce Lee in the Green Hornet, was one of their first inspirations and motivations to get into martial arts. So common.
You know, yes. Yeah, I hear the same too. Military and all, and especially the guys my age. But you know, Bruce Lee is ageless, so to say. I think still now, till this day, people love him. The new talent loves Bruce Lee. Everybody loves Bruce Lee.
And then, of course, a few years later, you said you broke that bully's nose. I guess the fastest way to stop from being bullied is to break the nose of the biggest bully in town. Nobody else is going to mess with you after that.
Yeah, you know what they always say? It takes about 37 muscles in your face to make a smile, right? It takes only one, triceps, one muscle pretty much, to stop somebody. So if you stretch your arm, bonk, you know, yeah, that was it, you know, and I realized that everybody was afraid of him. So I realized also that they were not really his friends. They just teamed up with him. If you can't beat him, join him, you know, because nobody jumped in. And it was a real eye-opener for me. And what happened afterwards, the bullying stopped. 95%. If I would be bullied, there would be a new kid on the school, like a wannabe tough kid, you know, who would at that time, of course, would pay the price right away because now I know how to fight. And not only that, I started going after bullies who went after other kids. You know, so I became like the kids who got bullied, I became their protector.
You're the peacemaker, and I guess the new kids didn't get the memo, but they found it pretty quickly.
You know, I went to a new school, I remember that, and I was 13 years old, and these were two kids, and I remember they were smoking. They were smoking cigarettes, and I drive on the schoolyard, and I drive with my bike, and I see them both look at each other, and then one guy stands in front of my bike suddenly, you know, so I just drive against him as hard as I could. I didn't hit the brakes, and boom. So right away, of course, they wanted to pick a fight, and I asked them if they really wanted to do that. And they said yes, so then I knocked one out. And that was my interest to the school. Everybody was my friend after that because those were the two biggest bullies. And I just stopped one. The other one, of course, got afraid because that's what bullies are. They're insecure. They try to pick on the weak, you know. Sometimes they're mistaken to pick on a kid that looks weak, but is just stronger.
Who were your idols growing up?
You know, this is the weirdest question ever because people now freak out. It was Bruce Jenner. I was going to be a decathlon guy from Holland. I wanted to be the next Bruce Jenner. He was the 76 Olympic gold medalist in decathlon. And that was something I was really after as well. So Yeah, I looked up to him and Bruce Lee, of course, but you know, and Clint Eastwood and all these other actors, the Fonz, right? Henry Winkler. I thought he was the coolest guy as well. Happy Days, that was a big show in Holland. Yeah, those pretty much were the people I looked up to. And my dad's always been great.
And you got to work with Henry Winkler in a film as well, so that must have been pretty cool too, to have a childhood hero who you now met in person.
It's the most amazing thing ever. And Salma Hayek as well. I remember when I came to America, I saw the movie, what was it in America? From Dusk Till Dawn. And that was one of her first appearances in American movies. And she was this in a club, in a dance club, where she was there in her bikini, but dancing with a snake. And it was a really powerful scene because it's a crazy movie. It's a Tarantino movie. So that was her. I go, oh my God, she's cute. And then Henry Winkler. And then we do a movie, Kevin James, a great friend of mine. And then Henry Winkler and Salma Hayek in it. Man, that was insane. It was one of the greatest times I ever had. Really fun. What a good guy, man. Henry Winkler, he's such a good guy.
Yeah, and you know, the Fonz, everybody looked up to the Fonz. And of course, Henry Winkler plays a whole bunch of roles now that are not anything like the Fonz, but he's still super cool.
You know, he stays like that. We were walking there, there were a lot of extras on the set. We were shooting the fighting scenes. And I remember him passing all these actors and people were shouting at him. I said, hey, Henry, and he would stop and he looked at this one guy. And I didn't know what he was looking at, but then suddenly he acts like with his hands, he goes to his board and he says, put your board up. So I look at the guy, and the guy's wearing a leather jacket. So at that moment, he puts his board up, he puts his both thumbs up like the Fonz did. Hey, yeah, that was cool.
Great story. Now, you worked as a bouncer and a model in the Netherlands with a younger man. How did martial arts equip you for being a bouncer?
Well, it helps, right? You're more comfortable. You realize anybody with a little bit of martial arts experience, you know, you can pretty much clean everybody up outside. You know, it really works like that. A lot of people, they watch fighting and they think they can fight, but if you never fought, if you never trained it, you have no chance. You have a chance against somebody who also doesn't train. You know, but once you start competing, you know, you're on a completely different level than anybody else. So that's a comfortable thing. But, you know, it's a very scary thing as well, because on the other side, you realize, wait a minute, a lot of people know me. You know, they probably know I can fight. I can fight well. So if they fight me, they're probably not going to do it without a weapon. You see, so that's the scary part. I've never been into the weapon thing. You know, people pull knives or guns, you know, and it's not my thing. Well, if it happens, you got to do something. But, you know, thankfully, I always cruised through those things.
Did martial arts give you confidence, or did actually getting into fight give you confidence?
Oh yeah, no, it's going into it's martial arts competing gives you confidence. People who train karate, taekwondo, kickboxing, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. You can train, you can spar, you can do anything you want. If you never competed, you will never know how you are under pressure. And it's a big difference, let me tell you that. It's not as easy as everybody thinks, otherwise there will be way more fighters. But they realize that once they do it under pressure, you know, with the friends, family members, everybody, TV cameras, and people watching, a lot of people watching, it's a whole different ball. There's no room for mistakes now. So if you can't separate those two things, then yeah, that's going to be very hard. So I say martial arts is great, and it will build confidence, but it can also build a false confidence. For instance, and I did everything. I did Kyokushin karate, I did taekwondo, I did Shintai karate, you know, so I did and Thai boxing. And I started with all these karate sports, and you know, Kyokushin is full contact, it's a hard sport, but still sparring in the gym, you won't do hard because it's bare knuckle. You know, so if you come from a taekwondo school and then suddenly you're only sparring taekwondo, that's not a fair assessment of how you really are on the streets, you know, because you're sparring against a person who spars the same as you, uses from the left, you know, almost zero hands. So then you have other karate, they take the low kicks out. So I always say compete in the art. What I realized is in Holland, Thai boxing is really big. What I realized is that if you just want to be the best, stand up the fighter on the street, you know, you should be a good Thai boxer. You know, if you got great hands and you can add knees and low kicks and high kicks, you know, it's a great weapon. I wouldn't use high kicks. Well, I did on the street, of course, because, like I said, if you find somebody who doesn't know anything, it's actually pretty easy thing to do. But competing, in the end, competing will only give you a reality check, whether you can do it under pressure or not. Now you also understand also that's fighting under pressure, or what on the street. If somebody pulls a knife, that is more pressure. Now there's really no room for mistakes. You make a mistake, you can die. You know, so these are things that people should understand before they become a bouncer or decide to beat somebody up on the street. Always watch out.
Well, you bring up a very good point there, and I guess the next question I would ask then would be, can victories in the octagon or victories in the ring or the cage give you a false confidence that you're going to be tougher on the street? Because I would think there's a different form of fight or flee adrenaline when it's a street fight versus an organized combat sports event.
Well, you know, this is the coolest thing about it. The street is way easier. You know, if you don't give anybody time to think about it, then it's a much easier approach. This fighter, you're going to have to fight a fighter who also trained 8 to 10 weeks, and also trains with good guys. You know, I mean, you know that he's training. So the whole build-up, yeah, you don't notice it. But the days before, yeah, there's a nerve here creeping up, and then it goes away again. You know, on the street, you don't have that time. You know, on the street, somebody hits you, or most of the time that's over. You know, they hit you, you hit back, and it's, you know, like I said, it's, you know, I don't want to be sounding like this. You know, it is so stupid to sound like this, but I'll say, you know, it's so easy, but if somebody doesn't know what to do, it's like, when I tell people, okay, I'm going to, Shaquille O'Neal, I'm going to do a competition with him, we're going to shoot hoops. What do you think is going to win? You know, and everybody starts laughing. And I say, so why would you on earth would you think that if a professional fighter fights a guy with no fighting experience, that is going to be a tough fight? It's not. You know, so for a professional fighter, you know, if you, once you're on the street, you realize that it's an easy thing, but the worst thing is the weapons. You know, you know, weapons can kill you, and that, you know, I'm not into that. I've never been one of those fighters who said, oh, I'd rather die in the cage than give up. You know, I go, you know, I have a nice family, and I love my life. I don't need to die. You know, I'm not that guy. But, yeah, it's just competition. It's a cool thing. It's something I miss right now. And I believe that every athlete in any different sport, they will all have the same. Once they retire, they're going to miss it. Because if you are good at something, you know, it's fun to do. And you're fun to work out. And, you know, you want to do it. But unfortunately, you can't anymore. And hopefully, a lot of other fighters who retire, they can still train, can work out in martial arts. I can't do that either with my knees and my arms and all the stuff. But I can work out. I feel great, so I stepped away from it. Still, it's a hard thing. When I see fighters train, I always want to jump in.
How often do you train now?
I would say 4 times a week. I do a lot of pool workouts in my pool with the resistance tools. I actually, last week, this Tuesday, I posted on my Facebook the pool workout. Finally, after years of people asking me, a couple of weeks ago, I shot it and I posted it this Tuesday on my Facebook. So if people are interested how to do a pool workout with resistance tools, go on my Facebook page and just scroll to Tuesday, and then you will see.
You are listening to my telephone discussion with UFC Hall of Famer, BAS RUTTEN. Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton offers recreational and competitive kickboxing and boxing classes for children and adults, as well as yoga classes. Your first class is always free to try. Bruce County Combat and Fitness offers single monthly memberships for as low as $45 and $67 for a family. Their drop-in fees are only $7 for most classes and just $5 for yoga and Little Warriors. Check out their full schedule at brucecountycombat.com. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They also sell a full range of fight gear and apparel.
Here's Mark and Don Leslie from Leslie Motors.
Hey, Mark, do you remember that song, We're Here for a Good Time, Not a Long Time?
Yeah, what about it?
Well, I was just thinking that's the way people might think when they're buying a car. No one really enjoys the experience.
We're here for a good time.
Hey, Mark, focus. Just think, Leslie Motors makes buying a car more of a joy than a chore.
Just like the song says, when you visit Leslie Motors, you want to be there for a good time, not a long time.
Exactly.
Visit Leslie Motors in Walkerton, Harriston, and Wingham. A pleasant drive from anywhere.
Join us in Hanover this summer. We've got an experience for you. Enjoy live music, harness racing and theater, play the slots, or family recreational activities. Tour our vibrant downtown featuring great shopping and events. Taste our locally brewed, handcrafted beer and the many dining options. This is just a snapshot of what awaits you.
Visit McLean's Ales Brewery and choose from 6 different beers.
Discover more at Hanover.ca.
Tired of hard water wreaking havoc around your home? Dry skin and lifeless hair? Dull and dingy laundry? Soap scum and spotted glasses too?
Hey, Culligan Man! A Culligan water softener turns hard water soft every time. Soft water is the answer. Not cleaning products or detergents. Culligan saves you up to 50% on soaps and detergents while turning your laundry, bathroom, and kitchen brilliant, like me. Hey, Culligan Man!
Rich in calcium? 100% fat-free? Mary, what are you doing? I'm trying to decipher all these labels. I just want to make a healthy choice. No problem. Guys?
Just look for the health check symbol.
Low in fat. An excellent source of calcium. Who are they? Just my Heart and Stroke Foundation dietitians.
When you choose foods with the Heart and Stroke Foundation's health check symbol, it's like shopping with their dietitians who evaluate every participating product based on Canada's food guide.
Let's give Mary a hand in the juice aisle.
Check for health check. Visit healthcheck.org.
Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton. Check out the full list of classes at brucecountycombat.com. Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton offers recreational and competitive kickboxing and boxing classes for children and adults, as well as yoga classes. Your first class is always free to try. Bruce County Combat and Fitness offers single monthly memberships for as low as $45 and $67 for a family. Their drop-in fees are only $7 for most classes and just $5 for yoga and Little Warriors. Check out their full schedule at brucecountycombat.com. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They also sell a full range of fight gear and apparel.
Hi, this is Michael Jai White. You're listening to Martial Arts World Radio with Joseph Clark.
Our interview with former UFC World Champion BAS RUTTEN is brought to you by ketone specialist Regan Bremersh. Keto OS is leading a modern health revolution through therapeutic ketone technology. Mix this great natural 100% bioidentical ketone powder into a 16-ounce bottle of cold water for a great tasting drink for peak performance. Within 15 to 30 minutes, you'll be in the optimal training and fight state of ketosis. He doesn't just say it can do it, he can prove it. For more information, contact Regan at 1204-522-0733. Again, that's 1204-522-0733. Or visit www.proveit2day.ca. That's www.proveit2day.ca. We now return to my telephone conversation with BAS RUTTEN.
BAS, would you take us back in time to your very first competitive fighting event? I know that you were a competitive kickboxer, correct, before you were an MMA fighter. Yes, the adrenaline, the excitement, was there any nervousness? Please tell us about all those aspects of that story, your first fight.
Okay, this is the funniest thing ever, because you will have no clue. That's what I'm saying. I thought I was a badass in class until I had my first time watching match. And don't get me wrong, I won, I stopped him, I spinning back kick to the liver, he went down, I got him. But if at that moment, when I dropped him and he fell on the ground, if they would have turned me around, away from him, my face away from him so I couldn't see him, they put a blindfold on me, they take 5 other Thai boxers out of the audience in shorts, they put them next to each other in the ring, and then they take the blindfold off and they ask me, who did you fight? I don't think I could have picked a guy. It's really weird. You're in a complete different state. You don't hear anything. You're in this tube, you know, that thinks that knows how to fight, but doesn't. You just go berserk. You know, you start hitting, you get tired suddenly, and I go, wow, 30 seconds bitch. Feel it. What is this going on? You know, everything's fine. The adrenaline, the people, the screaming, the pressure that you have. You know, and then, yeah, thankfully I dropped him. But if I wouldn't have dropped him, that could have been a crazy fight, because technically it didn't look good until I made the spinning back kick. But before that, I was swinging for the fences, you know, and if you see me in training, I was really compact. So that is what pressure does to you. And then the second time, it's a little less. You know, you start already, okay, I remember this kid. It's not as as crazy. But some people, they get used to it. Some people never get used to it. I got really used to it when I started competing in Japan. And I have no clue why. I think it's the audience. I think that there's no negativity. I think everybody wants you to do your best. Nobody really wants to see you lose. Everybody's quiet. I mean, it's like you're fighting in the living room. If somebody is in the 50th row, he can literally talk to me almost by simply talking. He doesn't even have to speak up, and I can understand what he's saying once in the ring. So that's how quiet the audience is. Now, when somebody gets hit and he goes down, people go nuts for 5-10 seconds, and then everybody's quiet again. And I think somehow that whole peaceful feeling there, the feeling that you cannot lose, even if you lose, you can't really lose. As long as I give my very best, you know, the Japanese people will carry you on their arms. You know, if you quit, like somebody jumps on top of me and he loads up for a punch in my face and I tap, you'll never be back. They don't really appreciate that. But the difference that I had as a Thai boxer, fighting in Holland, to doing mixed martial arts in Japan, is a completely different guy. I mean, I was so insane. It was so crazy. I was thinking, you know, it's maybe a fun story. I don't think I ever told this. I told it in you know, on camera somewhere, I think. But it was so crazy that I heard the American people speak. I knew what they were saying. I walked towards the ring. You know, I could understand everybody. It was almost like I was hearing everything. And then the opponent came. And then the opponent, when I knocked him down for the first time, and it was so crazy because I never did this kind of stuff. But this went through my mind, and I swear this is 100% true. So I knocked the guy down. Then there were 8 counts. In Pancras, where I was fighting, there was an 8 count. That would, you know, in the end of the fight, it would go to a decision. Well, the person with the most 8 counts, of course, was going to lose. So I knocked him down, and he falls on the ground. Now, they start counting as soon as I hit my corner. I have to go to the neutral corner, and as soon as I touch the ropes, that's when the referees start counting. And somehow, in my mind, I thought, wait a minute, if I run to the corner, that actually makes me look like I'm scared, because I want the referee to start counting really fast. So why don't I do the opposite? And it was really weird. There was a 2 voice in my head. So what I did, I walked over to the person that I just knocked out, and I gave him a look, and for a second, and then I walked very slowly to my corner. I was just making sure that his eyes were glued on me, so he could think, oh man, this guy really doesn't care. He's walking very slow back to his corner. He gives me all the time. You see, I thought I was way more intimidating to him than running to my corner being scared. But this I did not plan. It just, that happened. It was such a weird coincidence. When I saw pictures, this is every time when I talk about it, I get so excited because it's so weird. When you see pictures of me Thai boxing, every picture when I hit somebody, my face, it looks like freaking Wolverine. I'm growling. I'm in Japan, there was no facial expressions whatsoever. Somebody kicks me, and you see me lifting my leg, and it's like the face is, I'm not, it hits somebody in the head, I might scream like, "Way," something like that, but it's complete relaxation. It was the weirdest thing. When I looked at the magazines, when I came back the next fight, they had all these magazines. In Japan, they have like 5-6 different mixed martial arts magazines, or pro wrestling magazine, but mixed martial arts is also in there, Thai boxing, everything is in there. But lots of magazines means lots of interviews, and it's really cool because they have great pictures. And I was amazed. I was looking at my face. I thought, like, wow, what's going on, you know? And I became a calculated fighter. It was really weird. It was really the Japan trip that did that for me.
BAS, anybody that I interview who has fought in Japan says it is an entirely different experience. It's an entirely different audience. They're an educated audience. They have a respect and an appreciation for the sport and an etiquette that is completely different than North American audiences. So maybe you got caught up in the spirit of the situation.
It was nice. And you know, I think negativity, I pick that up mentally. If I go to on a busy day to a mall, that's not a good thing for me to do. I get agitated, you know. And everything was calm and peace. So yeah, no, I loved it, and I 100% what they say. It's you can't lose as a fighter. If you understand that you go to Japan, when you're losing, you can't lose. If you give your best. I used it as an example. There was a fighter in Pancras who lost like 6 fights in a row. But every time when we would walk outside, there would be a line for this guy for autographs. because he gave it his all. You know, you knew that if you had to fight him, well, you're probably going to win, but you're going to be in for a fight as well. You know, so every person who had to fight knew that, this was going to hurt. You will probably beat him because you're more technical. And that guy had a whole following because he was just a tough guy, and he lost 6 in a row. You see, and as a fighter, when you realize that takes a lot of pressure off your shoulders, because now it's like, oh, I'm just going to do my very best, you know, and see where the ship strands.
But statistically speaking, your striking accuracy had a better than 70% success rate, I believe. Your submission attempt success was over 85%. Even in your early 20s, in the Netherlands, as a newcomer to the sport, you had an incredible knockout record. What do you attribute that to?
You know, my whole family from my dad's side, they're all athletes. My brother's a really good athlete. He became a boxing champion in the army, and you know, and he never boxed. He's a musician. He's a lawyer now. He went to the conservatorium, and he majored in three different ones, majors. So, you know, and then he became a lawyer. It was the weirdest thing that you look at him. I always tell people, they say, oh, how much do you work out? I say, guys, you have no clue. One time I didn't work out for 5 years. And people ask me constantly the question how many times I work out per day. I'm just blessed with my dad's genetics. And my brother, if you see my brother, who didn't work out for, I don't know, 35 years. You know, it's a crazy thing. You know, I think if you work out 1 month, you look like me. It's the craziest thing. So I can eat whatever I want. I don't gain. I can, if I don't eat, I don't lose weight. It's just really weird. I'm just very blessed with that. But that all comes from my dad's side. You know, they're all athletes. They all did track and field and gymnastics. So I think that's at least the athletic abilities come from. And then and the rest, I think it's a feeling. It's you know, somebody yesterday on YouTube asked me a question. I made this YouTube clip, you know, that swimming clip I was just talking about. They said, what is the biggest muscle you use for striking? I said, what's your triceps? You know, but you know, of course, it's not only triceps, because if I can stretch my arm, I can put my body weight in there. The trick is to stretch your arm, and simultaneously at the moment of impact, that's where you're going to have to lock up your shoulder and push your body weight into the punch. You know, and that is a thing that most of the time comes naturally or not. One of the two. It's very hard to learn. A lot of guys can do much better, and a lot of guys master it after a certain time, but they've always been telling me, that's what the rubber boxer, kickboxer said, either you have it or you don't. Now, you can improve it, for sure. But you see some guys like Benji Reddick, you know, who's 185 pounds, is the guy who I've never had somebody who hit as hard as he does. You know, and if I look at his technique, then I go, dude, that's not good. You should push up on your straight punch. But I'm not going to say that to him, because for him, somehow, I don't know, it works. He hurts my hands through the focus match. So, you know, sometimes there is a person that just breaks the mold. You know, but physics, you know, if I stand on one leg, it's a bad. If I give hooks to somebody, if I stand on one leg, I can't put my body weight in there. It's impossible. If I try to push you away on one leg, it's impossible. I need 2 feet on the ground to be planted on the feet, and then I can push you to the side. Now that works the same with straight punches, but the straight punches comes from your back leg, not the front leg. So if I stand on my front leg while I punch somebody, I can't put my body weight. Sure, I can knock them out. I always tell people, you know, if you get a strong arm punch, you still knock them out. You catch him at the time for you to for him that, you still will knock them out. But most powerful is pushing up on your back foot. That's the only way you can push somebody away. That's the only way you can use your body weight. You know, so that's the focus that I've been working on my entire life, and foot setting. You know, it's just putting the work in. There's another thing I want to say real quick, because people, you have no clue how crazy I can be. Because they say, oh, you suddenly learned the ground game. Yeah, because I started training 3 times a day every day. You know, yeah, then you will start picking up. It's just doing it a lot. My first Thai boxing class, I got dropped to the liver shot because I was a badass, I thought, in karate. But apparently I was not. Like, I mean, the first sparring session with the guy was an A-class boxer, so he was a Thai boxer. Well, he realized that my hands, I was not used to facing punches to the face. So my hands were on my hips. So that means as soon as he started hitting my face, I started overcommitting with my hands. They went up too fast. Yeah, a professional guy only has to see that one time, and then the second time you're going to get dropped with a body shot. You know, that's where I got dropped with a body shot. So I got home, and I was living with a girlfriend at the time. And I stood 4 hours in front of a mirror punching, 4 hours. And I tell people, try 4 minutes, and then try 40 minutes, and try half an hour. Nobody does that. I did 4 hours. Yeah, sure, I would stop, drink a cup of tea, do some, eat, go back in front of the mirror. And my girlfriend at the time, she says, you're completely insane. I said, no, my hands are not going to drop anymore. They're going to be at the right spot tomorrow. I went back the next day, and I cleaned 80% of the gym out. Everybody thought 100%. I played the trick on everybody. That I already knew how to box and how to kick, and then I put it together, and that's why I came there. You know, I was just playing an act the day before. I said, no, he dropped me for real, and I spent 4 hours in front of the freaking mirror because I did not want that to happen again. But you see what 1 4-hour session can do to you. Suddenly, you know, you change yourself. I have it here with students. I tell if you rotate your upper body with all your punches, all your kicks as much as you can, you're going to be the best. You will go up the fastest. You don't want to do that, you know, because everybody thinks that they overcompensate with the upper body rotation, that they're too slow. I said, forget about that. Trust me. If you do it, you will go real fast. Now, I think 5% maybe will do it, or 3%. There's really not a lot to it. But the ones who do, they come in, and if I see them do it, I always point out, I say, watch that one in 1 month. And then I'm always right, you know, because they go so fast up. I say, if you can do it slow, it's much easier to do it fast. But you pay attention to technique, drain it in there all the time. And, you know, hopefully some other guys, just the professional guys who want to fight, thankfully they learn, and they listen, actually. They listen. So
And you have authored books. You produce training DVDs. Is there a specific title or DVD which you wish to share with us today?
I have the BAS RUTTEN Big Book of Combat. Those are the biggest instructional there is on the planet, I think. It's 7 DVDs, over 11 hours of instruction, and none of that slow motion stuff that fills all space. No, I show it, I break it completely down, every single move, then I say, okay, this is how it looks, boom, 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 boom. And then many times, I'm very fortunate in Pancras, I submitted a lot of people, you know, especially with the rope escapes there. So I had like 45 submissions. You know, the record says 14, but it's way more submissions. But and so all these little clips on the DVD, when I show a certain move, then I say, and this is what I did in the fight with it. And then boom, I showed it. Or I do a mistake, you know, I show a knee bar, with Ken Shamrock knee barring me. I said, boom, this is how I lost the fight. Now look how Ken set it up. And I put that video there. I said, okay, he distracted me in half guard. He goes for the figure 4 arm bar. You know, that he makes me think it goes for a figure 4. Suddenly he spins around and gets me in the knee bar. And then I say, okay, so I lost that fight. Now I'm fighting Maurice Smith. Now, hey, wait a minute. You remember this position? And that's me in the same position as Ken Shamrock was in a real fight, distracting Maurice with a hammerlock, with a figure 4, and then putting him in the knee bar. So then the people realize, oh, wait a minute, yeah, he learned from his mistake. You see, that thing that he lost to, he learned that himself, and then he actually won a fight with it. And I think it's important once you have an instructional like that, and I talk you through it, and you literally see it. I say, listen, this is exactly the same what Ken Shamrock did to me, and then I use it on Maurice Smith. You see, now we're learning. And also, once you show a move, and you show the move, you show that move, you doing it on in an actual fight and winning a fight with it, then people automatically know it really works. You know, sometimes you don't see that. You know, you're explaining something, but people don't really get it. But visuals, those always work.
And Boss, you have a website as well, right? BASRUTTEN.com.
Yep.
Taking the interview in an entirely different direction, do your tattoos have special meaning?
Yeah, a whole bunch. They do. You know, it's on my shin there's a big snake. Used to be a really nice snake detail, but I think kicking, low kicks, didn't do it really, did some damage to it. It's like a blob now. But it's a snake. I was born in the year of the snake. In the Chinese astrology. It was just a cool, you know, you just try to find a way with an animal or a cool animal you like, right? If I would have been the goat, I don't think I would have put a goat on my shin. So I think I probably would have come up with something else. Then all the little ones that I have on my elbows and on my knees, on the side of my knees, they're all Thai expressions for power and for relaxation. They're all hit targets. I got it on my hands and the side of my hands and then my knees and elbows. What do I have? Oh, I have a tattoo on my left leg. My wife and I, when we met, we both put the same tattoo, only she did a mirror image of it on her leg within a month that we knew each other. So we knew. We're 25 years together now, so thankfully it worked out. I have a really cool samurai logo on my forearm that's put on by a really, some cool people. That was a cool thing. I'll leave that over to the rest. That's it. Oh yeah, I got of course on my palms. Everybody always talks about my palm tattoos. What happened was, I thought it was so cool, a cool idea to put one on the palm. I've never seen it, so I asked my buddy who's a tattoo artist, is that possible? He said, yeah. So he puts it on, and it grew out, I think, like 3 months later. But then when I told him to do it like a little deeper, it never grew out anymore. But anyway, I never lost a fight anymore when I put that tattoo on. So I figured, hey, it works. So why don't I give myself a long life? So on my right hand, I have Qi, or Qi in China. The Japanese and the Chinese use the same kind of kanji. And on my left hand, I have Shao. It's a very old Chinese logo, and it's for long life. So now I'm hoping that I'm going to be 100 years old.
So there's some spiritual aspects to these tattoos, and obviously they're reminders, and you draw strength from them.
Yeah.
In these ones, this was all before, I completely, I turned back into the Catholic faith like 4 years ago, and that has my attention right now.
You are listening to my conversation with UFC legend and cinema star, BAS RUTTEN.
This is Emily from Ladam Reflections. Let us show you the wonderful, colorful new spring lines. Ladam Reflections has entered its second year with the support of all our customers. Whether it's casual Friday or a semi-formal occasion, we can outfit you. We have a wonderful selection of accessories. Come in to see Lisa or I at Ladam Reflections, 119 Garifraxa Street South in Durham. This area's fashion destination will make you look great so you feel fabulous.
Get ready for Summertime Blues. Featuring blues legend Buddy Guy, along with Colin James, Matt Anderson and the Sheepdogs, plus the Glorious Sons, Bahamas, and Yukon Blonde. All at Summertime Blues, June 23rd and 24th, Kelso Beach Park. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.ca or at summertime-blues.com. Gary the Canadian Tire Guy reminding you about the Big Red Weekend Father's Day sale, where from Thursday, June 8th to Sunday, June 11th, you can save up to 70% on a huge selection of items. And now, my big announcer voice for a big announcement. This Thursday is Big Bonus Day. Show your My Canadian Tire money card and get a bonus of 20 times CT money on qualifying purchases. I sound huge. In-store only, no rain checks, conditions apply. See CanadianTire.ca or flyer for details.
Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton. Check out the full list of classes at brucecountycombat.com.
BWR, Blue Water Radio. Mixing all your favorite music.
Martial Arts World Radio is brought to you by Bruce County Combat and Fitness in Walkerton. Check out the full list of classes at brucecountycombat.com.
This is UFC fighter Jason Sago. You are now listening to Martial Arts World Radio with Joseph Clark.
Today's interview with UFC legend and cinema star BAS RUTTEN is brought to you by BobWallWorldBlackBelt.com, the world's foremost online martial arts and MMA marketplace. Sunday, June 25th, UFC fighter Alex Ricci is hosting a Muay Thai seminar at Bruce County Combat in Walkerton, Ontario, Canada, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Everyone welcome, no experience necessary. $25 per person. Contact Bruce County Combat and Fitness at 519-507-4431 or email them at brucecountycombat@gmail.com.
And your film and television resume is getting quite lengthy, and most of your roles have been, I noticed, playing yourself. So you know you're a success when you're being asked to get in front of a camera and just be you. as opposed to portraying other characters. Do you have a favorite production which you've worked on?
Oh man, it's everything. You know, like Kevin James. We did so much stuff together, also for YouTube, and his brother, a TV show. I was in there. You know, everything with him is fun. You know, everything, comedy. I love it. But you know, sometimes working hard and kicking butt and all that stuff. I did The Eliminator was my first starring movie in the freaking jungle. So it's not the reals, but in Florida in the jungle. It was so hot in July. It was the craziest thing, and we had to shoot all these fight scenes, you know. And then when you do comedy, well, you crack a joke here, crack a joke there, and you get paid the same money. But like, okay, wait. I like that too, you know. So everything is fun. I enjoy everything. If you have to work really hard for it, the payoff is always better. So that's a great thing. But doing comedy, enjoying what I do best. What do I play? I said, just you with 10 cups of coffee. 1 second. Let me turn this off. So, just be you with 10 cups of coffee. You know, and then I said, okay, boom, and then that's it. And you know, actually, my first acting coach, when I came to America, I jumped into acting right away, and he always told me, he said, as soon as your friends and family members start telling you that you are just yourself on TV or on film, whatever you did, that is the biggest compliment you can get. He says, so don't think it's weird. Really make sure you understand it's a compliment, because that means that you're comfortable in your own skin at that moment. So once I heard that, I was even more stunned.
Now, Boss, again, going in a moment, I'm going to have a series of wrap-up questions, which are more philosophical, and we're going to benefit from your wisdom and your experience. But I just have to ask you, there's a lot of myth out there and a lot of rumor that you participated in bar brawls and street fights, and a particular story that stands out was when you fought multiple bouncers, another is when you disarmed an armed bouncer. Are these stories true?
Yeah. Well, you know, unfortunately, it's not unfortunately, because at the time I couldn't avoid it. And trust me on this, I try to avoid it. I'll be the guy who constantly will say, no, I don't want to fight, no, I don't want to fight, no, I don't want to fight. And unfortunately also, for the other persons, once you do that 3-4 times in a row, they think you're afraid. And then I realize, wait a minute, no, you think I'm afraid? And I say, hey, listen, I'm not afraid, I just don't want to fight. You know, also you're not afraid. And then, you know, so it goes on, and suddenly when somebody swings, yeah, then there's a fight, you know, I go. So that pretty much all the time was always, it's kind of like that. Since I've been bullied as a kid, I was never the bully. You know, I always felt an anger towards people who look for fights and, you know, look to bully people. So I vowed to never be that person. And I didn't even tell myself. I just never want to be that person. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's all true. But if I say unfortunately, well, it's kind of their own fault because they started 100% guaranteed in every fight.
And, you know, world champion heavyweight boxers have had the same problem since the beginning of time, right? Which is there's always somebody who wants to make a name for themselves by challenging them to a fight. And, of course, the person who challenges them to the fight has nothing to lose, but the professional fighter has everything to lose.
It really is like that, you know, but it's also, first of all, there's idiots. Those guys are mentally not at the right place, but there's people who are drunk. You know, they just take a swing at you. And I've been there, you know. I've been crazy drunk, and then the next day I don't remember what I did, you know. Like, we all have this. You wake up in the morning and you don't know, I hope I didn't tweet anything, you know, those kind of moments. And I'm not even talking about fighting. But with that said, if a guy is drunk on the street and he would attack me, even if he connects with a punch, I would not knock him out. I would choke him out, probably, because it's the safest way to put somebody to the side. And then just put him literally on the side so he can't swallow his tongue. Just make sure the person is safe. Call the police. You know, tie him up or something, whatever. But I would never hit him in the face, you know? And why? You know, why would I beat the crap out of a guy who's drunk, who doesn't really know what he's doing, and then the next day he's going to wake up with no teeth in his mouth? It's just not a cool thing to do. So I've never been that guy either, you know? Then I just close the distance. Most of the time I can't connect with him. We're talking. I'll put him to the side, away from the group of people. And I start talking, like distracting, you know, oh man, you're cool. I see you have a good fighting stance, and you fight, but don't use it against it, you know, I know you're fighting. You know, like you started promoting him, and then suddenly you get their attention. And slowly but surely you explain to them, hey, we don't need to fight, you know, and everybody's happy like that. But some guys, they still take a swing, you know, but then You know, all be ready, and when you get hit, well, choke them out. It's a misconception. I'm sorry that it's a misconception for people. They say a choke is the most dangerous thing. A choke is dangerous. You know, when you see cops and they kill by accident somebody but do it, they simply don't know how to do a choke. They do it wrong. If you do a blood choke correctly, there's zero harm. Absolutely zero. They won't feel a thing. I can choke out my wife. She won't feel a thing if I would do that. So it's the most humane way, for real, to take somebody out. And then just tie them up, make sure that they don't swallow the tongue, of course, take them on the side. So, well, because when you tell people you choke people out, they think you're insane. But if they now, with this story, now they know why I do it. It's a really nice way. I'm a nice guy, trust me.
You're an incredibly well-rounded fighter. Is there a particular style or discipline which you favor over others?
No, that's the thing. You know what thankfully happened to me is that I was a decent striker going into MMA. And then I didn't know the ground game. And a few losses on my record forced me to do that because I realized if I don't know the ground game, I'm never going to be something. So I started focusing on that 2 or 3 times a day, every day, ground fighting, and I never lost a fight anymore. So it works. You can really, my last 22 fights, I didn't lose a fight. So as long as you put your mind to it, you can do anything. Now, with the grappling, I had no clue before I started grappling the combinations and how you can tie things together. And once I got obsessed with it, I would submit my wife, my poor wife, in the middle of the night, and would wake her up because I would dream a submission. And I would wake. This happened like 6 times. You know, it's not like it happened once. So that's it. You know, I would do that during the day. I need lean over. Okay, I'll put a choke. I say, does this hurt? You feel a little pain, or do you feel that you're getting dizzy? Oh, I'm feeling dizzy. Okay, so blood choke then. Okay. And then I would write it down and I would bring it to the gym. You know, but because of that, it always captivated me, the ground fighting. I really, once I committed to it, man, I got obsessed by it. And I love that game. That's the hardest thing for me not to do right now, is the ground fighting. I think I can, if I roll now, 5 days walking is not going to be fun for me. So that's the sad part. Striking I could do, but I don't want to do it because I got 4 plates in my neck, front and back. And the doctor says, "Oh, you can spar if you want." I said, "No, thank you. That's not going to happen anymore. I'm going to just train and the water work out and do some conditioning." But that's it. But to come back to your question, it was submissions. I really missed that.
BAS, your children. Tell us about BAS RUTTEN, the father. What kind of a dad are you?
I'm exactly what you see in the movies, you know. What you see on TV is pretty much what I am at home, you know. And thankfully, I find rest now a little bit more than I lay in a hammock or do something. But when the kids are home, I think it's always joking. It's always having fun. Everybody's laughing. We're a very happy family. It's amazing. When my wife and I, every time we're looking at each other, we say, "Man, we're so blessed." The kids and the way our relationship has gone over the years, you know, and you come to that really good spot that you just not even have words for anymore. I mean, years, you know, it's the weirdest thing. And, so the kids feel that at home. There's always peace and quiet. If I scream, it's always the same scream. They will never probably hear me scream for real. You know, it's a joke. That was a funny thing. We had MTV from Holland. They came over here. They were going to film. And they were going to park on my driveway. I would walk out. This was set up. I would walk out, start screaming at them and saying, "Come on, this is typical Dutch, you know. You come in, you think you own this place, get the hell out of the way." You know, and they start screaming at them, pushing them back in the cars, you know. So that was the setup. And I told my daughters at the time, I said, "Listen, Daddy is going to run out. He's going to be very angry towards these people, but this is not real. We set this up, okay? This is a joke, you know." And then the guy would walk over and say, "See, I'm going to scream to him, but it's not real." And still, when I started screaming, they freaked out because they had never seen it. You know, so it was a funny situation, but a little funny, scary for them.
You sound like a practical joker.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, you have to. I'm laughing now because my wife will allow me to do it. When she was wearing a mask like 2 days ago, and it looked like Leatherface, you know, she had like pieces of cloth coming out of everything. And she was not allowed to laugh, so because it would burst the mask. And needless to say, when I see her, I go, "Oh, no." I said, "Let me make a picture." So now she's going to have to start laughing. And I'm dying of laying on the ground, so she can't stop
6 more
laughing anymore. But
minutes.
yeah, I would love
Sorry.
to make a picture of that and send it like Uber Kevin James.
No, you're fine.
Hey, this is about my
I'm running
wife
late.
today.
It's
But I'll put it on social media.
Thanks,
My
man.
younger daughter's really good with practical jokes. She's on my wife 24/7. She won't let off. She's allergic.
Boss, as part of our wrap-up for this interview, and again, I thank you so much for your time and your candor today. I've got a series of very concise, direct questions, and what I would ask is that you can answer them fairly short answers, whatever first thoughts come to mind, if you would.
Okay.
The first one that I have here for you is, what has your travels taught you about the world and your fellow man?
My troubles in travel?
Sorry, your travels. What has your travels
If he's not in there, he
about
might
the
be out
world
as a
and
part.
your fellow man?
Everything.
Yeah, he's been doing some work
People
up
skills,
there.
everything.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm a
see the car,
I
though. That's why I
understand
wasn't
that
sure.
before I went to
he's here.
Japan, I've
Might be in the
never been in
back
an airplane. We were in Europe, we drive everywhere. So it was and when that opened up, and then I saw American people, and went to Australia, and I've pretty much been in any country on the planet. It's amazing. And it makes everything better. It's unbelievable.
What has your years of wisdom and worldly experience taught you about friends and family?
You know, I don't want to say deal with the problem if the problem is there. And what I mean with that is, like, if there's something might happen in 4 days, don't get excited now. You know, the saying I use the most, we will cross that bridge once we're there. That's what I say pretty much every day, 3 times a day. Somebody, because they're getting crazy, oh, this, I say, it's next week, right? Yeah, okay, let's go down. Get nervous the day before. Shall we do that? Okay. And I explain to them, I say, if nervousness would help you, I will be nervous, trust me, but it won't, so I don't.
What has your fight career taught you about yourself?
That I can push myself to higher levels than I thought I could.
Advice for young fighters just starting out their careers who are listening to this interview. Some advice for our young fighters.
Stamina is the number one. The number one component you need is stamina. Technique will be there anyway already once you start competing, but stamina. You'll be amazed with how much you're going to run out of gas in your first few fights because the nerves, the adrenaline, everything takes it away. Don't start competing too soon. Don't tell the whole world that you're going to compete. Don't tell anybody. Preferably for your first few fights, fight out of state. Don't tell anybody. If you won the fight, when you come back, if you won, you can say, oh, I won. And if you lost one, you don't even have to tell anybody. There's no pressure on you if you do it that way. And just always think, fight for yourself. Don't fight for your friends and family. Don't fight to put bread on the table. It's always, it's not. If you do that, then those people are on your mind while you're fighting. You fight for you. You'll be the guy. You're the man. You're the number one guy. And if you do that, and you don't care what other people say and talk about you or do whatever they say, you just look at yourself. You are the most relaxed fighter. You're going to be succeeding. And because you did that, your family, that you want the bread on the table, automatically are going to get the bread on the table now. But put yourself at the number one spot. And it sounds like an egomaniac thing to say, but it really works the best. And especially nowadays with those social media, because you're going to get it. You can lose a fight with the worst guy. And a lot of people with fake names behind the keyboards are going to tell you that. And if you can't handle that, I wouldn't even start fighting.
Thanks so much. And our last question, Bob, what advice do you give your daughters about overcoming discouragement and negativity?
Well, I always tell people only go as far as you let them, I think that's the thing. And I think negativity, that's, and especially losing is a very important thing in life, That's why I dislike all the schools, what they're doing right now, that, everybody gets a win and everybody's a winner. No, it's not true. If you can't run, well, you're not going to be a winner. The first three persons on the finish line, those are going to be the winners. They're the number 1, 2, and 3 person. Because if you teach your kids that everything, it's like going to the karate schools nowadays. Everybody gets a belt. They don't even do the test. They do the test, but it doesn't look like a test. It looks like an idiot. They don't even know what they're doing, but everybody gets a belt. Anyway, I haven't seen anybody fail once here in America. So That's not a good thing to have. So what I always say is just be above that. Learn from your mistakes. The best thing, take constructive criticism. The best thing. Somebody told you, hey, boss, you shouldn't do this and this. I take that. I'm not going to say, hey, mind your own business. I never do that. I always take the constructive criticism, and I think that's the only way you learn. And or, if that person is not right, you say, okay, let's break it down. You know, then you break it down, and then you explain to them, you see, that would work for me, it's in a nice way. But, yeah, failure, look what failure did. I was just talking about it. My last loss against Ken Shamrock, my knee bar. I got fed up with it. I started training 3 times a day, only on submissions, and never lost a fight in my life anymore. So, it works. Just make your, the problem you had, make that your strength. I could have said that, right, at one time. The problem that you have, make that your strength. That should be my answer.
And a fine answer it is. Boss Rutten, thank you so much for joining us on Martial Arts World Radio. You've been generous with your time, and it truly has been a privilege.
Thank you very much, Joseph. I appreciate it, and a great time as well.
This has been an interview with UFC Hall of Fame inductee, MMA superstar, and combat sports legend, BAS RUTTEN. Be sure to check us out at mawradio.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube by following Martial Arts World Radio. I'm Joseph Clark, wishing you safe travels. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in to our social network video stream viewers. I'm Joseph Clark. This is Martial Arts World Radio, and we'll be back next Monday at 7 p.m. Have a great week.